So Wizard, you had said earlier, after taking this for a rip and tuning this thing to perfection, what are your thoughts on it?
This is one of the best 79 Elsinores that I've ever ridden, and I've ridden a lot of them here. It's got a great sound to it. It's tight. It runs like a new bike. It really does. And a lot of them had those Fox Air shocks that were just spongy and stuff. This thing is solid.
These are brand new progressive fork springs, and those are forks off a Honda CR450, so they're much more heavy duty and thicker.
Bigger clamps.
Bigger clamps, bigger everything. So the suspension is light years better.
It's beautiful too. I mean, the white,
We've seen a lot of Red Rockets come through here, but to have a Mugen replica like this with the custom graphics, the cone pipe, and the factory original red motor.
That is a 125 tank. It's smaller and sleeker.
That was a period correct mod they do on a lot of the race bikes, right? Because the stock 250 tank was kind of bulky for off-road. So this is perfect for a 30-minute moto.
It's beautiful. I love the looks of it. And the graphics came out great. Chris did a great job with the graphics.
So from Chris is a former AMA Pro motocross card holder from the 80s, and he's ridden a lot of these.
And 90s.
In the 90s, a lot of these vintage bikes, and for him to say it's the fastest 250 Red Rocket he's ever ridden is
Actually,
quite
only the 90s.
What's that?
I didn't make it until 91.
You only made it in 91?
No, I made expert in
91. Oh, that's right, yeah.
So, 90s. 90s to 2000 was my last try at the Nationals.
Well, I love it. It's a kick-ass, as cool as the Red Rockets are, to roll into the pits at any motocross race with this thing, it's going to turn heads everywhere, or to go to the Nationals with this in the back of your truck. This thing makes a statement. Thanks for getting it, Wizard Tune.
It's so strong. It's such a good bike.
It's a kick-ass machine.
Whoever gets this one is going to be really happy with it. See you guys.
Thanks. Guys, we're looking at more than a motorcycle here. We're looking at a timepiece. We're looking at a time machine, an unobtainium absolute work of art. This is one of the last bikes from the Mark Underwood collection, my good friend, who I've been buying bikes from for a few years. He had a huge collection of bikes. He built a 16-car garage mini mansion at his home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And this bike was supposed to be one of the showpieces in his private museum setup that he had in his $1 million home there. Sadly, his son Ted, who all these bikes were going to be left to, died of a heart condition in his 20s. Super sad. Matter of fact, when you walk in the door of the museum, you'll see a sticker on there that says Ted. I put that in memory of his son. And Mark was my age. I had no idea. We didn't expect him to pass away. He passed away right around Christmas last year of COVID, sadly, a couple years after his son had died. So the whole train went off the tracks. The plans of keeping his private museum. He had a whole collection of these. He had a 78 and a 79. He had a total of 5 of them. 2 or 3 of them were NOS perfection. I'm talking brand new, just out of the box. One of them was a resto mod with Fox shocks, a Red Rocket, and his vision was to complete this Mugen bike. He didn't complete it before he passed away, so the Wizard, myself, Christy, Junior, everybody got together, and we got the bike from his wife, Candy. We got the rest of his motorcycle collection, and we finished this up. There wasn't a whole lot to do. Most of the heavy lifting was done. He had a vision for it, and what you're seeing is that completed vision.
I think he's looking down really happy right now.
Yeah, he's happy. He told his wife Candy before he passed away, and I think he knew he might not make it. He said, call Ken Sr. and make sure he gets all my bikes. And I ended up buying all his bikes and his trucks and cars and everything. His wife had to sell everything. So this thing is bristling with trickery from front to back. And if you know the Red Rocket bike from this era, if you know the 78, 79 Hondas, you've probably already noticed a few of those things. But to the untrained eye, let me point out why this is my favorite of his collection of the 5. Well, Wizard said, and to quote him, this is the fastest Red Rocket he's ever ridden. And I have to agree. When I was going up the driveway on this thing, it'll wheelie in every gear, super easy, and it pulls like a freight train. I felt like I was connected by a rubber band to the end of the driveway there when I banged 4th gear. It's got a lot of torque and horsepower. It's way too nice for me to take out and do 3rd gear holies in the dirt. I would have loved to have done that, but this thing is an absolute showpiece. So it has not been in the dirt since it's been complete frame up restored. I'm gonna start at the front as usual and work my way to the back. It's got a new Michelin Starcross tire on the front. The real hallmark of this bike one of the largest upgrades on it is this is a later model CR480 front end. So it's a much thicker fork tube and stanchion with better dampening, better triple clamps. The entire front end is a major upgrade, including the braking system and the gold rim. That's a huge upgrade, much beefier than the stock front end. The handlebars are brand new. The levers are brand new. The Whirlpool throttles are brand new. The grips are brand new. The front number plate is a custom, period correct number plate. That's brand new. All the hardware on the front end here is all brand new. Mark had attention to detail better than, as good or better than anybody I've ever met on his restorations. The fork pinch bolts are all brand new.
Hey, this is a factory seat. The seat cover hasn't been replaced.
This original seat. It was a low-hour original that Mark wanted to take to the next level, and that's what he did. He never started with bikes that were real rough. He started with super good originals, and he would take them and do them to the nines. It's got a new kill button on it, new clutch lever, new clutch cable, new front brake cable, new throttle cable. All the cables are new. The vent hose is new. And if you haven't already figured it out, what looks different about that gas tank? Well, that's a 79 CR125 gas tank. It's smaller in capacity, allowing the rider a more narrow platform where you can scooch forward a little farther into corners, and it just makes the bike look super sexy. It's got a white Mugen style front fender, white front number plate, professional. Mark had a few paint shops that painted his cars. One of his Chevelles was wholesaled to one of his friends for $55,000. The same guy that painted that did all his paint work. The frame's been repainted, the matching white. The swing arm's been painted. The tank's been painted. It's got new side number plates, new rear fender. The original saddle was mint, so he left that alone. The graphics on here are one of a kind. These are Christy Steiger graphics. You can't buy these. They're not for sale. It's limited edition artwork just for this bike. The Mugen power on the side with the red, white, and blue with the Mugen logo is just spectacular. The red number plates with the custom number ones are on point. I'm going to skip over the motor and get to leave the best for last, because that's where the real magic is. The pegs are mint. The peg mount bolts are mint. The rear brake lever is mint. It's got a brand new gold chain, brand new sprocket, new Michelin Starcross tire. It has been ridden around our compound a little bit on the tar, so any wear on that tire is only from riding on tar. It hasn't been in the dirt. It's got a replacement gold rim, new rear brakes. These shocks, Kyle ordered these shocks. We put these on here. Wizard just put those on. They're a brand new set of progressive shocks. He mentioned about the Fox Air shocks not being quite as reliable, not holding the air. This is a perfectly matched setup front to back. The spring ratio on these shocks and these heavy duty forks, this thing's ready to take to Mid-Ohio and win an AMA National in the 70s class. Straight up ready to win a national. You don't have to do anything to it. Just get on it and go. Put your helmet on and go. It's ready to go. All the hardware for the shocks, if you zoom in closely, you'll see these are custom billet chain adjusters, and you can see that Mark had the attention to detail to actually paint in the axle adjusters, so there's no guessing where it is. The swing arm's been refinished and repainted. The rollers, the chain sliders are new. The foot peg mount bolts are new. The engine mounting bolts are new. I'm gonna get to the heart of the beast, because that's the real magic here, if it wasn't painfully evident with how fast this thing was going up the driveway and how nasty it sounds. It sounds super aggressive, super crisp. It's jetted by the Wizard perfectly. I'm gonna start at the intake tract. It's got a new twin air filter, new intake boot, all new hardware holding the carb in, a brand new key-in carburetor, jetted perfectly, and it has the V-Force 3 reed valves by Moto Tessineri, which is not something you see every day on a Red Rocket. It's got the modern reeds in there, brand new intake boot. The engine's been completely rebuilt. New piston, new rings, new base gasket, new head gasket, new mounting bolts for the cylinder, new mounting bolts for the head, a new ignition coil and a plug wire, a new fuel petcock, new fuel lines, and the exhaust is a handmade cone pipe. I think that's where a lot of the magic of this bike is. You can see the exhaust port and the seal and the spring mounts are all brand new. The exhaust is never been in the dirt, so there's not a single ding on it. And if you zoom in closely, you can see this is a handmade cone pipe, and it is absolutely on point. This thing is a freaking rocket. It's a Red Rocket. The heart of it's a Red Rocket, but it's got the Mugen livery everywhere else. Again, bristling with trickery. On this side of the motor over here, you've got custom CNC machine billet inspection points. You've got a new clutch cable. You've got all new hardware. You've got new Allen bolts. You've got everything's brand new on the exterior of the motor, including custom billet machined engine mounts on the front engine mount and the upper engine mount. Those are, you just don't see that kind of stuff. Usually they're the originals. All new Allen bolts mounting for the engine on the back. A lot of the bolts have this gold finish on here. I thought they might have been titanium, but I think it's just a gold finish on the bolts. Beautifully done. And the other bolts are all chrome. Nothing is stripped off on the bike. Nothing is Mickey Mouse. Everything, anything on this bike that wasn't new would have stick out like a sore thumb on this motor. The paint job on the motor is beautiful. This is a custom billet machined case protector right here. Super well done. I've never seen one of those before. I've never seen these engine mounts before. I've never seen this cone pipe before. Why? Because they're one-off, like a factory bike trick. They're not for sale anywhere that I know of. Just a kick-ass piece. Come around this side of the motor here, you can see the same thing. Beautiful factory, original rocket red with the embossed painted Honda logo. The Kickstarter is new. The shifter is new. The peg mount bolts are new. The engine bolt mounts are new. The engine mount nuts on this side and the billet engine mount are new. New engine mount on this side, billet. You can see the V-Force 3. Just an absolutely amazing machine. The original factory airbox is intact with the rubber cover. New mounting bolts for the airbox. Just a kick-ass piece, guys. I mean, everywhere you look, new mounting bolts for the tank. Has the original factory Motor Co. Honda Motor Co. Ltd. January of 1979 model tag intact. That was professionally removed and professionally reinstalled, riveted on there. New mounting bolts. Now, Wizard said he said that check the silencer out here. The silencer, it just freaking barks. And listen to the running clip again. Very rarely do you find a red rocket this crisp that runs this good. It's a combination, the twin air filter, the new carb, the V-Force reeds, the brand new top end, all the new electronics, the cone pipe, and it's topped off with this kick-ass aluminum custom silencer with a billet end cap, new seat mount bolts. I mean, everywhere you look, man, this is just new axle adjuster bolts, new bolts to hold on the brake stay arm. Just a kick, world-class piece. This one's ready to race, man. Race it or roll it into the museum. This one might be too nice to ride, but Mark built it to ride. He was gonna ride it. You know, he had a big 30-acre farm that he just built his $1 million house with a 6-car attached garage and a 10-car detached. And his whole collection was going to be on display there. And sadly, his wife Candy and his daughter, who's 15, needed the money, so everything's getting sold, including this masterpiece, which we completed for Mark. We completed his vision. That makes me feel good. And it also makes me feel good that Mark told Candy before he passed away, call Ken, he'll take care of everything. And we did. Billy went down. Billy himself, who answers the phones here, went down here with James, handled the whole pickup along with his good friend Dave Mims. Dave's one of Mark's lifelong friends, and he helped orchestrate putting together the whole deal. So if you're looking for a custom investment quality two-stroke that is a timeless, I mean, look at this thing. Look at the profile of this thing. It's 40 years old, 43 years old, and it still looks modern. It looks crisp. It's straight up badass. Like I said, I didn't have to say all that. I could have dropped the mic and walked away after I rode the thing, and the bike speaks for itself. But there's a lot of stuff on a custom like this that at first glance, the untrained eye is not going to see. That's enough out of me. If you have any questions about it, give us a call, 860-454-7024. Like I said, good luck finding a better one. This is one world-class piece. I'm going to fire it up, take one last ride. It's going on display in the Honda section of the museum with Doug Henry's factory CR250. We've got some real pristine from the 74 CR250 up to a brand new aluminum frame 500. So we've got a kick-ass collection here. I'd be amiss not to show you the frame rails too, because I always recommend checking those out. And this is a perfectly pristine, dent-free frame.
Check the gallery. I have a lot of underside photos. Bike is the real deal.
Yep. Want to show them this side real quick? I don't want it, no stone unturned, okay, guys? Pristine, completely ding-free. And furthermore, this area down here often can get marred if it's raced. This was a pristine, farm-ridden, grass-ridden 250 that Mark handpicked. It's a kick-ass piece, guys.